Good afternoon, class, or good morning, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. In this video, we're going to go over adding content to our poster project. So first, what I want to add is I want to add my rough sketch. I want to put that here for reference, and then I want to add a couple posters right in here, example posters. So if I want to add my rough sketch, I'm going to go to File, Place. And it's gonna ask me what I want to put in there, and I'm gonna put my rough sketch, which is not in my folder right now. It's in my downloads. Right there. Place. I hit enter. Now I've got this little thing here. It's asking me where do I want to put it. So now if I just click, it's gonna just drop it in at its size. If I click and drag, it's gonna let me control what size I'm dropping this in at. So if I just click, it's extremely large. And I could go in here and change this, which I'm going to do. Drag it over. And when I'm moving this, I am holding Shift. So if I don't hold Shift, I'm going to mess up the aspect ratio. And I don't ever want to do that. I'm going to undo that. And I'm holding Shift. Drop this right now. And you can see that there's this X across this image. That means that it's a linked file. I don't want it to be a linked file because I saw that it was in my downloads. I'm going to eventually move that into the folder that I house everything for this project in. And as soon as I do that, the link will be broken. And if I tried to print it, it would come in really, really pixelated because this is just a preview. The file isn't actually in the Illustrator file itself. So an easy solution is up here with the picture selected, my direct selection tool. I'm going to click embed. Now this image is inside of the Illustrator file and it can print it or do whatever I want with it. And if I move the original around in my file explorer, it won't matter because this is in the file. And I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit more. And what else I want to add is I want to add 2 example posters for reference also. So I could go to File, Place, and this time I am going to be in the folder for this project, and I'm going to add this one here. Place. Before I hit Place, though, I am going to uncheck Link. So now when I drop it in, it's going to automatically embed the file. So place. And instead of just clicking, I'm going to click and drag, and I'm not holding Shift. It's automatically keeping the aspect ratio. Just drop it in, move it over a little, and then I want to add one more. So there's another way I could place things. So if I go over to my file browser here, and go to History Poster, I'm going to drag this one over. Let me just place it this way too. This is just copying, and you can see that X, I don't have an option here, it just drops it in as linked. So I'm going to go in up here and click embed. And I'm going to resize it holding Shift. And again, neither of these really look like my poster or my rough sketch here, but I'm just using these for the colors. I really like the colors here, and I really like the colors here. So that is placing images into the Illustrator document. So another thing we're going to need the text. So if I grab my text tool and I create a large text box, clicking and dragging with the text tool, and there's multiple, if I click and hold here, you can see all the different types of ways I could use the type tool, area type, type on a path. We'll get into those a little later. And this text here that it just filled up, this is just placeholder text. If I zoom in, yeah, this is just so I know that there's a text box there and how big it is. Illustrator just dropped the text in there. So zoom out again, and I'm going to go get my Word document with all of my text in it. So here I've got my Word document. Now I'm just going to, this is the only thing in here. I've got my font, got the creator, got my 250 words, letters and numbers, and special characters. I'm just going to grab all this stuff here, Control A, Control C to copy, and then I'm going to go back into Illustrator, and I'm going to double click. Now, double clicking on type automatically brings me to my type tool. So I'm clicked in there. Now I'm just going to hit Control A. That'll select all that type, and then I can hit Control V to paste it in. So Control A, and now I'm going to hit Control V to paste. Control V, and there's all my type. And then I could go in and select this, and just to make it easier, because even though most of it's going to be smaller on the poster, I could increase the size here. Or I could just click, and now if I use, since I've got the selector here inside of that, I could press up and down keys to change the size that way too. So I'm going to leave it this size here. So now it's all one giant text box. So placing text. So there's my text, and now I can double click on it, select it, hit Control C, grab my selection tool again, and then hit Control V, and now I've got the word Helvetica here. I can manipulate that. Again, whenever I just transformed it, I resized it. If I don't hold Shift, that is going to ruin the poster. If I accidentally do that, I could just hit Control Z to pop it back into place. And there, you can see there's an extra return here. So if I just hit delete, and then go back. Selection tool. I am a huge fan of keyboard shortcuts. Unfortunately, when I've got the type tool, I can't just hit the one key because selection tool is V, so I'm always pressing V. So if I hit V right now, it's just going to add a V. So I don't want to do that, so that I have to go over here and select that. And then I go in here and take all this text and move it around too. That is placing content into your Illustrator document. The next video we'll talk about manipulating type.